Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Happy Easter for all that celebrates, for all who celebrate Easter. It is Easter morning. My name is Dominic. I'm going to be guiding you through a yin yang flow today. So we're switching it up, not the traditional true hot yoga flow, although we will incorporate some of those moves. We're also going to make space in there to stop and hold poses for time and kind of have more of a static stretch. So have a little bit of flow and a little bit of stretch. And we'll button it all up with some savasana and make it all nice and good and set you off for a nice, beautiful afternoon here. So, and enjoy your Easter and all of that fun stuff. So let's start by connecting with the breath and connecting with the body. So let's take a comfortable seat. You can be like me, kind of kneeling here as an option, or you can crisscross, applesauce it out. You can bring the hips elevated on a block or a blanket to make it a little more comfortable. When you arrive in your chosen posture, sit up tall. So think about really grounding and rooting down into your sits bones. And then think about allowing your sternum or your heart to press forward. Elevate your shoulders and then depress the shoulders so you can get a sense of what the difference is between the two. And keep a soft eye gaze looking forward or maybe looking down. And then start to get a sense of the body and the breath. Noticing the rising and falling sensation of the breath. Get a sense for any stiffness or tension you might feel in the body. Maybe you scan the head, the neck, the shoulders, and the arms. The front of your body or your chest and your abdomen, the back of your body, your lumbar spine and your shoulder blades. Where is there any felt sense of aliveness within your body right now? Work your way down into the hips, into the thighs, shins, calves, ankles, soles of the feet and tops of the feet. Just really trying to get a feel for where your body is today. Continuing to connect with that breath. Continuing to let it rise and fall. Being soft and steady, both in thoughts and in how you feel today. And if you have an intention you want to set for class, allow that to flow into your awareness, whatever that intention is. Allow that to become part of your sitting moment here. And we are going to start off class at the top of our mat, standing in mountain pose. So make your way to the top of the mat. Take your time getting there, no rush. Once you arrive at the top of the mat, look down at your feet. Your connection to the earth, your groundedness to the earth. Lift the toes. Spread them wide, just like you would your fingers. Then relax them onto the mat. Gently grab the mat, activate the bandhas in the foot, the energy locks, and then relax and release. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Squeeze the outer hips in. And then look forward, find your dristi. Keep the palms nice and wide. Press the chest up and pull and glide the shoulders towards the sit bones. And feel the strength of that equanimity, that balance that makes up mountain pose. Next, inhale, reach your hands out wide. Spread your wingspan all the way until you reach up towards the ceiling, extending overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Interlace the fingers, press the palms towards the ceiling. Maybe start to draw the heart through and pull the hands back, opening through the shoulders a bit. As you exhale, bring the hands down, reach the hands in front of you. Make a fist with the left hand, take the right hand, cup it around, and then just start to pull your fingertips towards your face, stretching the backside of your wrist. Notice that your elbow may bend on that left arm. Try to keep it straight and extend out. Slowly release. Make a palm or a fist with the right hand. Left palm wraps around, straighten the right arm. Gently pull back, stretching out the wrist so that it looks kind of like this. I realize my side profile is probably not the best for that. Slowly come back. Bring the wrists together. Thumbs facing you. Forearms together. Slowly start to rotate the thumbs away from your face. Pinkies will touch. Backs of the hands will touch. As they do, start to bring them towards you. So now, kind of making this little stretch motion here. Pressing the backs of the palms together. Continue to do that. Rotate all the way back to front. Close the hands. Thumbs face you. We'll do that one more time. Roll the hands open. Allow the backs of the hands to come together. As they do, bring the fingertips down. Roll it back up. Palms together. All right. Take some half salutations to connect breath to movement. Inhale, reach hands overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse, come up. Reach the hands up as the fingers touch. You exhale, bring the hands through heart center, pass all the way down. Fingertips touch the ground, bend the knees if you need to, or put the block here to make it a little more accessible. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, third eye. Throat chakra, heart chakra, all the way down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pass it through, fold it down. Last time here as we do this. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bring it back on the inhale. Moving into our first exercise, waking up the core. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. You're going to step the right foot back and then follow that up with the left. You're going to come to a plank pose. Spread your fingers wide. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Puff up through your back like you're pushing the mat away. Engage your core. Press out through your heels and squeeze your thighs. There you go. That's it. And you got like 30 seconds of that plank hold. Really focusing on the core here. Waking up the center of your body. Really trying to balance the weight evenly in all of these various places. That'll help make this a lot easier. Continue pushing. Continue breathing. 5 more seconds. Too easy. All right, lower down, forearm. Keep all of that activation, and you'll hold this for 30 seconds. Draw your elbows towards your knees. Push and round through the back. Keep the core engaged. Press out through the heels. Eye gaze looks down between the hands. Stay steady. Stay focused. Squeeze the inner thighs. Breathe through the nose, nice and slow. Maybe add some ujjayi. 5 more seconds. Cool. All right. Start to drop the left hip to the left for 1. To the right for 2. Yes, you're still holding a forearm plank. To the left for 2. 2. This is 3. My counting's so messed up right now. Keep going. 3. 4. 4. Working the side obliques. 5. 5. Sure, 1 more because I'm sure I messed up somewhere. Nice. Slowly lower the knees down. Take a child's pose. Maybe you start to feel the activation of everything in the center of your body. That's what you should feel. Shift the weight forward. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees. Tiptoe to the front of the mat. And we're going to work through some more sun salutations. Building on, adding more movement. Inhale. Reverse. Swan dive. Reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Draw them towards the chest or towards the ribs and press the chest up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Step or hop back, find plank. Lower all the way down. We're taking cobra. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale. Inhale, knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, down dog. Nice little modification you can do if you would rather. Otherwise, it's chaturanga, up dog, down dog. The usual. Look forward, bend knees, step or hop forward. Lengthen once you get to the top of your mat. Fold it in. Inhale, reverse. Exhale. Let's do that left side. Reach up, go up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back, right foot steps back, or you hop back. Lower all the way onto the belly. Press into the tops of the feet. Press the pubic bone into the mat. Lift the heart. Draw the elbows towards the back of the mat. Exhale. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale to down dog. Look forward. Bend knees. Lower hips. Inhale. Hop it forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Hands to heart center. Recalibrate the breath. Slow it down. Find your steady. That's it. The dynamic power of your breath, steadying you moment by moment. Inhale, lift the hands. This time we're going to take it with chaturanga, full variation. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it down. Step it back. Right foot, then left. Shift forward in the plank, lower halfway down. Chaturanga, inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, right leg goes straight up. Exhale, step it through. Find your runner's lunge. Wiggle the left toes back. Take an inhale, lift. Find your crescent. Press down through the big toe of the right foot or the front foot. Press out through the left heel. Draw your right hip back. Your left hip forward. Draw your tailbone down and your pubic bone up and reach through the sky. Slowly start to lower that left knee down. Reach up, go up as you exhale, tuck and round. Let the forehead touch the knee. Fingertips together, separate, your choice. Draw your energy towards the center. That'll steady and balance you. Inhale, press and lift. Exhale, cactus the arms and shift. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, bring the hands to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe the right foot towards the edge of your mat. Straight, send it straight behind you. Bend the right knee. Reach the left hand back. See if you can grab the foot. If you can, kick into the foot. Draw the left shoulder back and bring the eye gaze down. Tiger pose. If you can't get the foot, take little pulses here or use a strap. Release the foot and the hand. Bring that right foot. Well, actually, you can leave that right foot right where it's at. Lower down. Take a child's pose. Inhale, round forward. Find your plank. Bend the arms. Take a chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart to up dog. Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, pulls you into Adho Mukha. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through or lower down and step around. Wiggle those right toes back. Get steady in your foundation first. Press down, rise up. Reach up, go up, extend up. Sit a little deeper. Get pulled between heaven and earth. The hands extending up, but the feet staying grounded. It takes work to be in two places. Exhale. Start to lower that right knee down. Reach the hands overhead. Keep them overhead. As you extend out, now round and curl. Separate the hands. Forehead touches the knee. Find your breath. Lift up through your pelvic floor. Pull your belly button up and in. Find your bandhas. Lock it up. That energy lock holds you. Steady. Builds those internal flames. Builds the internal muscular. The internal muscles, I should say. Muscular. My words make no sense sometimes. Happens. Bring the hands back together. On the inhale, start to come up with the ears by the biceps. Exhale, shift it forward. Cactus the arms. As the hands come down, send the hips back, heel toe, the left foot out. Left leg goes straight behind you. Coming into a balancing tabletop, bend the left knee, flex the left toes. Those little pulses I talked about, just like this. Using your glute and hamstring for the work. Otherwise, right hand goes back. Find your toes, your shin, your ankle, or a strap. Press that foot up. Draw that right shoulder back. Push into the left hand. Kick, reach. Slowly bring that right hand down. Left knee down. Tuck toes, lift knees. Find down dog. Walk the hands back to meet the feet. Let the head hang heavy, bend the knees. If you need to, grab opposite wrist or elbows. You can dangle here for a moment. Really going to work on opening the back chain of the body here in these next couple moves. Start to bend your knees. Start to lower your hips. Start to bring your chest close to your thighs. The more you can shorten the distance between this and this, the more you'll get out of this stretch. Lift your toes, bring your fingertips underneath, palms face up. Trying to get the toes to touch your wrists. If you get this, that works. If you get this, that works. If you get this, that works. Tuck your chin into your chest, look behind you. Keep the knees bent, or if you're a little more open, start to straighten the legs, start to lift the quads, start to bend the elbows. Take your shape, the one that aligns with your body. Be present with these changes and these movements, knowing that, as with all things in life, these are not permanent. There's impermanence built into everything. Nothing you're doing right now will last forever, even if it feels as such. The reality is that doesn't happen. Start to bend the knees so that you can release the tension if the legs are straight. Palms come out from underneath, hands on hips, take an inhale, come up. We often get caught in the story that whatever's going on in that moment that doesn't feel good is going to last forever. It isn't. It will pass. It always does, and it always shall. We just have to follow the process, trust and believe and have faith. Inhale. Reach the hands up and overhead. Grab the left wrist with the right hand, just like this. I'm turning towards you for video purposes. You do this facing the front of your mat. Lift up, go up. Exhale, start to lean to the right. Use your right hand to stretch open the left side body. Press into the outer edge of the left foot. Draw your left shoulder back. Lift your throat up and extend. Go a little deeper. Inhale, bring it back. Don't release the hands. Switch them. Left hand grabs right wrist. You go up. Find your length first. Get long through your spine. And then you start to lean to the left. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. Draw the right shoulder back and lift your chin to expose it towards the front of your mat. Press down through that right foot. Stay grounded. Be strong here. Solid. Slowly come back. We're going to take a back bend here. As you release the hands down, bring the hands behind you. Pinkies facing down, or fingers facing up with the thumbs touching, or two fists on your low back. Keep the low back protected in this one. Pick your variation that works for you. Take your elbows, draw them back. Push into your feet, lift up through your quads, press your chest forward. Start to lean your heart back. Let your eye gaze start to shift up. Go back, reach back, way back. Eventually, you won't need your hands. You can just do this without the hands. Stay lifting the heart. Take another breath. Slowly start to come out. Allow the hands to come down. Back bends are known to sometimes be energizing, known to sometimes awaken you. So if you feel any type of sensation change, just notice that in the body. Make note of it. No judgment of it. Just allow that to be what it is right now. And know that it'll pass away. All right, moving into this next part of the series, we're going to sprinkle in just a tiny smidge of balance poses. So from here, we're going to go into Vrikshasana, tree pose. So we will start with standing leg balance on the left leg. Step the right leg out, bring it on the ankle, calf, inner thigh, half lotus, whatever you're playing with. Find what works for you, depending on where you're at today and what your body feels like. Work on opening that right hip up, lifting up through the heart, getting steady. Start to play if you want. Maybe you float your tree. Maybe you grab the big toe of the right foot and extend the leg out. Maybe you do none of this. Maybe you just play with the hands and move them. It's your balance. Whatever you choose, do so. Have fun with it. Be playful with it. Just know that if you fall out, come back to it. All right. Now we're going to take that right leg wherever you are, from wherever you are. Start to work that right leg so that it crosses on top of that left thigh. Yep. Little standing figure four. Start to send your hips back behind you so that you start to stretch your right outer hip. Maybe you start to bend that left knee. You can keep it straight too, but it's easier if you bend it. Gives you a little shelf. Flex your right toes, protect your knees. At all times, be safe with the body. Slowly start to come out. Oh, there we go. And we come back. We go, take a visit, journey, take a little trip, work it back to where we started from. Hopefully, but when we get there, we have elevated a little bit, maybe graduated, become new in some fashion or capacity. Left toes, step out. Find your ankle, your calf, your inner thigh, your half lotus, whatever version of tree you feel like doing. Doesn't have to be the exact same as the other side, because no two sides are the same. They vary. Think about the strength of that standing leg. Let the breath flow down the shin and up the calf. Circle that breath down the leg. Use it to energize you. Use it to strengthen you. Use it to steady you. Start to play. Float your tree. Do whatever you want with your tree. Your balance. From wherever you're playing, get that left leg to cross and rest on top of that right thigh. Flex your left toes. Send your hips back. Focus on the stretch. Focus on the balance. Focus on your breath. Slowly start to straighten the leg. Bring it back. Put that left leg down. Rebalance the weight of your body. Slowly start to fold forward from the back of your mat. Palms come down to touch. Take an inhale, reverse, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's go to the front of the mat. Let's take a Utkatasana. We'll move through one more series here. And then we'll take it down on the mat and we'll start to hold poses a little bit longer. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees. Draw the tailbone down, pubic bone up, core in, hands forward, bend, sit lower. Maybe you lift the heels, add some challenge to you, put some work into it. Squeeze the inner thighs. Keep the hands extended, push out through the fingertips, reach out through them like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you, or bring them here and press them together. Keep that activation. Sit a little lower, sit a little lower. Keep going, bring the elevator down. Fingers touch, hips lift, fold. Find length through your spine, head forward, hips back. Exhale, bring it down. Your vinyasa, step or hop back. Find your plank pose or chaturanga. Breathe, be intentional as you move. Bring the heels and toes together to touch. On the inhale, lift the right leg. As you exhale, step it through. Drop your left heel. Turn your toes out to the left. Reach your left hand back and your right hand forward. Come into your warrior two. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Setting you up for triangle. Squeeze and lift the quad. Press into the outer edge of the left foot, your back foot. Reach your right hand forward and then hinge at your hips, letting the hand come onto your shin or a block or all the way down at your toes. Let your left hand start to reach up. Eye gaze will find your left thumb. Keep pressing down through that back foot. Keep pushing that left hip open. You start to exhale, start to twist your chest towards your mat. Let your hand follow, let your hips follow. Step your left foot in to about middle of your mat, shortening your stance. Got that block? That'd be nice. If you do, great. If you don't, that's okay. Right hand on the hip. Take an inhale, come up. If you've got the block in your hand, hold it. If you don't, your hand's going to rest on the shin or rest on the ground, depending on how open your shoulders are. For Parvita Trikonasana, reach up, go up. As you exhale, hinge forward, reach forward, look down. Use the core. Engage your center. As you exhale, keep coming down. Block finds the floor, hand finds the block. You press into the block to protect the shoulders, really extending out the arm. Reach through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, start to twist. Start to twist some more. Lift that right leg. Don't let the right knee bend. Try to keep it straight. And then if you've got that right leg straight and you feel stable, maybe you think about taking that right hand up to the sky. Slowly start to release that right hand onto the mat. Let that block step out. Walk hand over hand to the left. Keep walking, spin so that you're facing the back of your mat. Hands come down, step the left foot back, find your plank pose. Shift forward, bend the arms, take an inhale, find your up dog. Draw it back, find your down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right knee to left wrist. Inhale, keep the knee bent, point the knee to the sky. Open up through the hip. Square off through the shoulders, push out through the hands. Come high on the ball of the left foot. Exhale one more time. Right knee, left wrist. Inhale. Open. Externally rotating the hip as we do this. Lower that right leg down. Keep the push in your down dog. Keep the activation. Exhale, inhale. Lift the left leg. Come high on the ball of the right toe. Left knee. Right wrist. Take it back. Keep squeezing the heel towards the butt. Keep that activation. Exhale one more time. Bring it back. Open wide. This time you're stepping left foot all the way through. Boop. Left foot steps through. Right heel drops down. Right hand goes back. Left hand goes forward. Hello, warrior two. Soften the shoulders, but activate them. Press out through the sternum. Press into the fingertips. Push down into the feet. Lift up through the pelvic floor. Draw your pubic bone up and your tailbone down. And then steady everything. Inhale. Straighten the left leg. Exhale. Left hand reaches out. Comes down onto a block, your shin or your big toe. Twist your torso to the right. Press into the right foot. Big strong leg, not a bent knee. We're not doing skandasana. Right hand goes up. Trikonasana. Triangle pose. Sweet. Start to level off the chest towards your mat. Let the hand come, let the hips follow. Step the back foot so your right foot now comes in. There you go. Shorten your stance up a little bit. Left hand on your hip. Stand up. Now's a good time to reposition the hips if you need to. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. Blocks in the right hand if you're rocking it. Left hand stays on your hip, block or no block, so that it helps you to feel the motion of not letting that left hip run away. Reach up, go up. Exhale. Woo. Hinge at the hips, press into the big toe. If you don't, you'll roll off to the side like I kind of just did. Press into the feet, push. The more you push, the lighter things get. Exhale, slowly start to lower down. Block finds the floor first, hand finds the block, press into it. Lengthen and twist. Sometimes we kind of get down here and try to twist. Notice how I'm bound up, right? So find your length first. It'll help. Then reach the left hand up if you feel open. If you don't, left hand stays on your hip. You'll get there. Lift the right quad. And then settle into wherever the breath is most present for you. Slowly start to twist, coming out, moving your block out of the way. Walk hand over hand, take it back, take it back. Bring the palms down, step the right foot back. There's your plank pose. Vinyasa, shift forward. Bend the arms for chaturanga. Straighten for Urdhva Mukha. Draw it back for Adho Mukha. Come high on the balls of the feet. Lower the knees. Down. Untuck the toes. Let the shins go flat. Open the knees wide. Take a wide-legged child's pose. Bring the crown of the head down. Reach the fingertips forward. Extend out through the arms. As the third eye softens into your mat, let it ground. Let it receive that energy as it pushes down. And the earth communicates by sending energies back up and through. Close the eyes, soften the breath. Come back to any intentions you set for class. And if you didn't, take time to reaffirm. Make one now. You can always begin again. Continue staying in your child's pose. For a few more breaths here, we are going to transition to a little bit more of the yin sequence. So we're going to spend a lot more of the time on the mat, really working some more into the hips, showing them a little bit of love, opening them up, and really focusing more on this idea of impermanence that I've kind of been discussing and talking about in practice today. It's really been a focal point for me as of late. Just when I think about all that's happening right now in the world, and it feels so permanent, right? But the reality is it isn't. It will pass, like everything eventually does. Even the things that feel like they'll last forever, they won't. And while that sometimes can be a scary thought, for other times it can be very relaxing to know. Start to lift the head from your child's pose. Start to look and shift your gaze forward. Let your hips come up. Let your knees come in. Find a tabletop. Shoulders stack over wrists, hips over knees. Tops of the feet press into the mat. And let's take some cat-cows. So let the pelvis tilt forward. Let the shoulder blades draw back. Let your sternum press forward and your eye gaze pull forward. As you exhale, let your tailbone draw down. Let your belly button come in. Let your chin tuck. Let your back puff up. And then as you inhale, let your body move. Let your breath lead the sequence. Let your prana, your life force that flows through you, guide you, slow and steady. Take one more set, and then you're going to stop in a neutral position. Spine long, head long, pelvis balanced. Walk the hands back. Let the hips come on to the heels. We're going to prepare for a little bit of straddle pose, virasana or hero pose in the non-yin language. Blocks are really good, or something that looks like a block is really good for this, because sometimes we can't get our hips to sit super low or sit between our heels. So I'm going to show you a couple different variations. So variation number one is a common one we see. Knees together, feet apart, hips in between, like this. This is crazy intense on my knees. I don't like it. So I put a block under. It feels better. I can live with this. This is doable. Still not my favorite. But this is one variation, because I got crazy calves and thighs, so it doesn't help when I try to sit down like this. So for me, though, what works best, because I'm really trying to target my quads, the front part of my legs, is I like almost like a wide-legged child's pose. So my toes together and my knees are apart, right? So it looks like this. And then I start to lean back, because that's the next part. Once you get everything from the waist down in position, then you start to lean back. And if you notice, I'm just on my elbows, kind of propped up here. This is nice. You can drop the head back. That's nice too. You can play somewhere between both. Now, some of you more bendy folks out there in the world, y'all going to be able to go all the way down, so go do your thing. Go there. Doesn't matter where you go. Just know you're going to be there for the next 3 minutes-ish. So find a place that you can stand. And know that that statement will change. As we start to hold poses, that's the difference. We just ask you to sit on them a little longer. And then to come back to that felt sense of awareness that I talked about when we started class. That scanning of the body and noticing. Right? The reason you hear so many yoga and Buddhism and the various lineages talk so much about awareness and paying attention is because ultimately they're trying to help us to understand that nothing is permanent. Right? And that if we can sit with and ride the wave of experiences, we can lessen the suffering. Because the suffering is created by the fact that our expectations are different than our reality. So if you adjust the expectations, then you adjust the suffering. And that doesn't mean everything feels great or even good. Lots of things feel good, but not everything feels great. But it does mean that that thing that doesn't feel great one day can lessen if given the opportunity. It's not a fix-all. not a catch-all. It is work. It is constant work. Because it also means the things that we love and enjoy won't last forever. But if you know that and you can be with them in with a place of presence and being 100% there, you can value them, you can appreciate them. I don't believe in quick fixes. I do believe in the work, whatever the work is. We must do it. My life experience has taught me that the things that I love the most about myself and about my life all came from trial and error. They never came easy. I wasn't that type of person. Slowly start to come out of the pose. Yep, take your time, lifting out. This is about being as gentle as you can with yourself. You're going to slide your feet out to the side so that you can sit on your bottom. Let the heels come onto the mat with the toes pointed up. Yep. Go a little bit wider than mat's distance. Let the left knee drop in, followed by the right, followed by the left. You get this. Yep. Straighten the legs. Point and flex the toes. If you, we're going to go to caterpillar or seated forward fold. So if your hamstrings are really tight, 2 things for you that'll help. Get a blanket, sit on top of it, just like that. It feels good. I like the way it feels. All right, that one, you can check. You can check from here what happens when you elevate the hips up a little bit. Does that help you to fold forward more? If it doesn't, or it's still a little intense, keep the blanket, bend the knees. This helps too. Even if you're here, this is still a seated forward fold. It's just a seated forward fold for tight hamstrings, or maybe you have something going on in the spine that doesn't let you round really well. So this is a seated forward fold that'll help you find length. Over time, heels will work out, right? So find your version, your variation, the one that works nice and comfy for you. What's up, Harley? Okay. All right. Slowly settle once you get there. Come back to being an observer of your situation. If you got a block, okay, maybe rest your forehead on it. If you're open enough for that, it's nice. If you got 2 blocks and you need to double up, double up. Try to soften the muscle engagement. Just allow gravity, allow time, allow the fascia to kind of soften. Notice what your energy is doing.
creating a need to fidget? Is it feeling intense or overwhelming in any one particular place? Maybe it feels like nothing at all. Maybe you check in and find if it makes sense for you to have that level of energy, the reason you should feel what you're feeling right now. And if it doesn't make sense, what happens when you focus your breath into that location? Allow it to circle and take up the space. And when you exhale, visualizing the breath leaving that area. Slowly start to lift your head off the block.
If you're not on a block, slowly start to lift your head anyway. Unrounding the spine and sitting up nice and tall. Block can move out of the way. Blanket can come off from underneath your sit bone. Just take a counter pose. Bring the fingertips behind you. Wrist face forward towards the front of your mat. Soles of the feet come down. Take an inhale, lift the hips. Find a reverse tabletop, straightening the spine to counter the rounding that we just took. Finding length, lift your hips up just a bit, and then lower them back down. Take one more just like that. Press into the palms, press into the feet. Take an inhale breath, push your hips towards the ceiling. And then lower down. Straighten out through the legs. We're going to work on the inner thighs a little bit, starting with butterfly. Butterfly comes in a bunch of different flavors. This is the half butterfly kind of variation, which you're more than welcome to try. Same rules apply. If you like a blanket underneath your sit bones, put a blanket there that you can sit the hips on. We're going to be here for a good minute. All right. So this is your half butterfly. Obviously, I'm just demoing the pose for now. You can take half butterfly. If you do, just make sure you switch up sides and do both sides equally. Otherwise, full butterfly, soles of the feet together. Knees naturally open up like a book. It's where you want them. All right, from here, with the knees open, you have a couple options. Draw your heels super close and intensify your stretch and sit up nice and tall. And this is perfectly fine. If you can be here for 4 to 5 minutes, great. Doesn't matter that my knees are not touching. One day they might. I like my hands on my feet. You can also open your soles of your feet upwards so your pinky toes are touching and your feet are externally rotating. One might argue this is internal rotation, but it's semantics at this point since I'm looking at my feet. The other option is you can have the heels press away from you and give you a little more space in case your inner thighs are not feeling this idea of having the heels in super close. And the whole time you can stay sitting up tall. Now, of course, you can also fold forward. I like to draw my tailbone down and round forward because I have a really, really tight thoracic spine. So this helps me to kind of create that rounded shape. Improves my back bends, things like that, which I totally appreciate. See, it's not always about how deep you can go.
Sometimes you can be a little more technical with it, a little more surgical, depending on what your body needs. Some people need that depth. They need to go far down because they're pretty open and that feels good for them. And some of us need to back off and really work the muscles and really stretch the places that need to be stretched. And for me, that's my back body. Hi. That's not fair. Did you just walk into my video and scream at me? Okay. Well, I did feed you this morning, so I totally know that's not what this is about. But to the folks watching the video, they're trying to chill, and you're over here screaming. Yeah, not helpful. Practice doesn't always go as we planned. Sometimes your cat shows up during the middle of your yin pose. What's one to do with that? Let that happen. It is our job to be intentional and to take action and to be flexible in mind and body when life decides to throw you something completely different. And work within the ever-changing construct. 30 more seconds. Go back in and see if there's any place that you can relax. Is there any bit of softness you can continue to find? Slowly start to come out. If you're rounded forward, sit up tall. And if you're sitting up tall, maybe open the eyes or come back to the external. Stretch the legs. Yep, straighten the legs out. That's nice. Maybe you get a snap, crackle, pop like I did. Come onto your backs. Draw the knees in. Gentle rock in the spine. Slowly come up to sit. All right. We are going to take our next pose, Malasana. Yogi squat. We've all been here before. Now in yin, when we take Malasana, and we'll be taking it for 2 minutes, I always like to offer a block because it's just nicer on the hips. So
I'm going to be facing you, but you can be facing the front of your mat. Stand up. Take a nice, comfortable hips distance stance, maybe wider. I'm taking a little bit wider because I know where I usually land in Malasana. Hips, heels in, toes out. I'll show you what I'm going to do with this block in a second. Reach the hands up, extend up, find length through the spine. As you exhale, bend the knees and lower the hips down. Come here. I like to wiggle my arms in, make a little space. Now, if your deep squat is too intense and you're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to hang out here for 2 minutes, that's where this comes in. That's it. This is you. Either one's fine, with block or without block. The block is always good to help you build strength. If you press into the block, that'll build strength into the arms while you hold the pose. It'll also give you something to think about so you're not thinking about your hips. And if you're sitting on the block, well, just think about lengthening your spine and letting the inner thighs open. Letting the work. Forty more seconds. Slowly start to lift the hips. Oh, yes, that's nice. Straighten the legs. Turn the heels out. Grab opposite wrists. Tuck your chin into your chest and just let gravity do its thing. Maybe bob here a little bit. This little tension, like there's a natural resistance you can bob with. That's your fascia stretching and pulling back, stretching, pulling. That's the elastic properties of your fascia doing what it does. So take a couple of those and feel what that feels like. And then steady yourself. Shift the weight into your toes. Leave your heels on the ground though. Keep your hands on your elbows. And then just let your head counterbalance and pull you closer to your mat. Slow, steady Ujjayi breaths. Really getting those inversion properties. While it's not as fancy as a handstand, this is giving you the same benefit. Trying to get that heart above the head.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round up one vertebrae at a time.
Let the spine unwind. Let the blood flow, change directions, and let yourself feel all of it. You're steady, facing the front of your mat is where I want you. Mountain pose again. We go around the world to return back home. Reach the hands up. Exhale, fold. From here, step your left foot back. Lower your left knee down. Heel toe your right foot out to the edge or onto your floor. Coming into a lizard lunge or dragon pose. You can stay right here on your palms. If you got block or blocks and you're super, super tight in the hips, this can be you. If you want to get some more depth, scooch your left knee. Scooch, that is a technical term. Scooch your left knee back and open up the hips. Also, with the right foot planted on your mat, that's your traditional dragon. If you want to wing it out, roll onto the knife edge or the outer edge or the pinky edge, all the same name, of your right foot. Let your knee travel with you, and that'll target a different part of the hips. Two minutes on each side is what we do. Now for my crazy, stretchy, I need to go balls to the walls, folks. Tuck your left toe and lift your left knee and hang out there. I'm not doing that because that's too much work. I come to you in to do less work. Or just the work that I need. You can have things that challenge you, but don't break you. That's what makes you come back. If I break you down every time, it lessens your desire to want to do it. You need to feel like you can accomplish said goal. And that's just not me. That's for yourself. Keep that in mind when you're putting together goals or ideas for yourself. Don't stack the deck. It's easier to go slow and be consistently doing those things, building those habits, than to do a lot, fail, and then feel like you can't catch up. Then you never pick it up again. So I always tell people when they're asking me like what kind of fitness program should I start or how do I start yoga, or I'm like, yo, do sun salutations. Period. Like, do those for 20 minutes a day. Every day or every other day. And that's it. No, they're not fancy, and no, they're not pretty, but they will get you where you need to be. And I guess I could argue they are pretty and they can get fancy. Everything we do is built off of them. Slowly start to come off your forearms if you're there. Yep. Oh, it's nice. Start to straighten that right leg a little bit. Might feel good. If you got blocks, bring them into your hands. Bring your right foot back towards the center of your mat. If you're not on blocks, you can still do this. Start to come onto that right heel and flex your right toe so you're in a half split variation. It's just more comfortable when you have blocks. Helps your spine sit up tall, helps you sit up tall. Of course, if If you feel open and you're working on a front split, you can start to work the hips open a little bit more and take some of that front split action. See how low you can go. Now, if you don't go this low, obviously, you have other options available to you. You can take the block, one of them, and place it underneath you and use it almost as a counterweight. I try to keep the block on my thigh for obvious reasons. It won't do me any good to sit on a block. That'll hurt. So make the adjustments you need to make. If you're playing in that full split variation, take your time coming out of it. Be gentle. No rush. Perfect. Bring the hands down, tuck the left toe, lift the left knee. Step back. There's your down dog.
Fingertips spread wide, push out through the mat. Step the left foot forward.
Lower the right knee down. Heel toe the left foot to the outer edge of your mat. Find your blocks if you're using them. If you're not, cool, don't use them. You can come down onto your forearm. If you need to work your right foot back to straighten it a little bit, you can. Of course, you can open it up too if you want. Just be consistent about what you do with your body and protect yourself. Go slow. If you feel a little uncomfortable with any of these moves, don't do the deepest version. Do the lightest version. The deep one will be there. It ain't going nowhere. And if you stay with your practice, you'll get a chance to do it again. Find your Goldilocks spot. Not too much, not too little, just right. Slowly start to work yourself onto your hands if you are on your elbows. Move your blocks out of the way. Heel toe that left foot in. Come onto your left heel. Stay here with your half splits, using your blocks to keep the spine elevated. If you don't have blocks, it can be on your fingertips too. Of course, if you want to play with a little bit of half splits, lower the left toes down, press into the left foot so that you can lift up your right knee and start to work your right leg a little more straight, dropping the hips a little low, and then start to work that left heel out. Be gentle, go slow. Don't rush. Come back in. Blocks go off to the side. Toes tuck. Right knee lifts. Left foot steps back. Down dog. Is where we find you. We find you. Lower down onto the knees. And we're going to take Anahastasana, puppy pose, as it's so called, just to open up our shoulders a bit. Let's give them a little love today. Keep the hips stacked over the knees. And then I want you to start to walk your hands forward. Walk your hands forward. Keep your shoulder blades separated. And allow your chest to melt towards your mat. Sometimes the chest gets there before the head. Sometimes the head gets there before the chest. But where you want to really feel this is really in your armpits more than anywhere. And in your side ribs, or along your side body, I should say. Really stretching through the front of your chest, a little in the heart as well. Now that's one variation. I particularly like this one the most. If you've got blocks, you do the same thing, but you put your elbows on the block. And then you bring the thumbs towards the back of the neck. And that's also another variation that I find to be quite fun. Personally, I like it. Now for me, my head doesn't really find the mat when I do it this way, but it really opens up the front side of my body, which helps get into the back side of my thoracic, which is a really, really challenging area for me. Some people have a lot of openness here in their body, so if you don't feel anything doing this pose, I suggest backing out a little and seeing if you can add a hint of muscle engagement. Either by drawing the shoulder blades down or pressing more firmly into the mat with the hands or the elbows. Maybe sitting your hips back a little more. Also, if you're pretty open this way, maybe flip over onto your back and put the blocks directly underneath the heart. It's basically the same pose, only lying down. Slowly start to
Straighten the arms if they were bent on blocks. If your arms are already straight, just shift your hips forward and bring your chest all the way onto your mat. Let the forearms come down. Sphinx pose. Just take a gentle counter. Elbows draw back. Heart draws forward. And relax. Move the blocks out of the way. Make the arms like a T. Lower your right ear onto the mat. Release. Bring your chin onto the mat. Switch ears. Lower your left ear down. And look over to the right. Not doing that because I have a microphone and it'll not be a fun sound for you guys. For all that is listening and tuned in right now. As I lie here on the mat, I appreciate the support that I feel from my mat, from the floor. Just from the security of knowing that the ground is beneath me and isn't going anywhere. If you allow yourself to focus in on that, that can be a very comforting feeling. Slowly bring the chin onto the mat. Bring the hands into the chest. Roll onto your right side. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a really big hug. I'm not doing that because my microphone is on my right side. So there's that. Big hug. Small amount of gratitude towards yourself, towards your practice, towards being alive in this moment, being able to experience this yoga. And while this may not be how you intended on planning having your Easter, I know it surely wasn't mine. I am so grateful that I am here, that even in spite of all of this, I'm alive and I'm able to move. And I'm able to help others in the ways that I can. And we all have something to give, something of love and of value to offer. And it may not feel like anything to you, but it could be everything for someone else. So now more than ever, maybe we need to reevaluate and look at our gratitude practice as an opportunity to let us savor these moments before they're gone. Because like everything else, they will change. And the only thing we'll be left with is the memory. And if you weren't present for it, how can you remember it? Roll onto your backs if you're not there already. Put the soles of the feet down. Let the knees point up. Take right leg, draw it into the chest. Grab behind the thigh or on the shin. Pull it in. Extend out the left foot so the left heel is on towards the bottom of your mat. Draw the right knee into the chest. Pull, 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 squeeze, pull. Try to create as much deep compression as you can, even if you have to use a little muscle engagement to get it. Nothing wrong with that. Slowly roll to the left so that you start to twist, of course. Maybe you roll onto that left side, reach your right hand out, open up, look over the right shoulder. Bring it back. Slowly unwind your twist. Lower the right foot down. Draw the left knee into the chest. Squeeze. Hug yourself like you love yourself, because you should. Extend your right leg out, or you damn sure should treat yourself like you love yourself. Flex your left toes. Pull everything in. And then start to draw left knee to the right, left hand over towards the left. Twisting. This final time, this final twist. Slowly unwind. Release the left leg down. Let the arms drop out and you drop in. Close the eyes and arrive in your Shavasana. Let your intention go back to that awareness of your felt sense of your body. Scan from head to toe and notice the aliveness in your body. Notice if you can sense and feel all that is happening to bring forth your life. The blood that pumps through your veins. The electricity that fires the neurons in your mind so that you can create thoughts. The prana that moves through you, that life force, all of those things. Your breath that keeps you oxygenated and fueled. There's a depth to you, one that lives within you. So feel free to lie here on the mat as long as you like exploring that. Seeing if you can get a little closer to that. And in turn, get a little closer to yourself. Thank you so much for your time. Love and gratitude. Namaste.